Well, hello, everyone. Don't mind us. We're doing a little bit of partying back in the green room back here because it is the last show of 2022. And that's going to be really fun coming across the microphone, by the way. So I apologize for anybody's ears. I just blew your eardrums. I apologize about that. But holy shnikes, do we have an incredible episode for you. And not just because I'm on the show, but because I have three incredible, awesome, stupendous, fantastic. I'm running out of adjectives this year.
Oh, calm down.
That's high. Let's back that off.
We're okay. We're doing. Whoa, hey.
You guys know I love you all. We've got Bill Schomburg with Cognition Digital. We've got Dusty Sutherland from Cognition Digital. And Nathanael Greklek, who has Cognition Digital at his store, with Mohawk Auto Group. He just is the social guru. I'd say chief. I'm just going to say chief of social everything at Mohawk Honda and Mohawk Chevrolet. And we are going to get into the most amazing show, I'm going to say ever at this point. Like, no, we've had awesome episodes.
Too nice. Too nice.
We got to start with his shirt game. I mean,
yes,
that they're going to be in the game with Nathaniel.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, we've had some pretty good episodes, but let's just back it up for a hot second and talk about Nathaniel's shirt, the hat, the glasses. Nathaniel, you got to break this down here for us real quickly.
Well, Taco Cat is Taco Cat backwards, so that's step one. Then obviously blue, purple, blue, all the fun stuff. And you got to have the little
I'm already getting called out here.
You are, Dusty. We're wondering where your fun attire is right now. Like, why don't you have a Taco Cat shirt going on right now?
And of course, it's April.
Yeah, I'm looking around my office. The most fun thing I can put on.
You've got some Cincinnati or something going on back there, I'm sure. Yeah. And Bill's coming hot. And Bill, there's actually a story behind your attire. So enlighten the audience on what you got going on here.
If you ever have the chance to see the theatrical presentation of every Christmas story ever told, you should go. And the attire that you see, they call an audience member onto the stage and you have to read your lines that they give you. And if you do well, you get to keep the prop. And so this is my theatrical representation of success. This is as good as it's ever going to get.
So I'm going to tell you, on Bill's resume, you also have to put thespian on there.
So, and then there's a story behind mine is that this morning I was like, okay, I thought I had some, nice little decor. I didn't. So I literally walked 1.5 miles to the Dollar Tree to go get mine because my car was being used by Chris this morning. And he does not know this, but he left before I could get the car because he has a little 350Z and that does not do so well in Chicago weather. So I walked 3 miles this morning, uphill both ways, to get the decor this morning for everyone because I love you all so much.
I was hoping you were going to say that. Uphill both ways.
Yeah. In the snow.
Let me talk about my outfit.
Okay, talk to us.
Okay, so my outfit is so Brooke says, hey, this is going to be like an end of year, New Year's thing. Dress how you would on New Year's. So I'm 42 years old with 6 kids, 2 young ones. I'm dressing like the guy that goes to bed early.
So are those, if you go to bed early, you may just be in your PJs.
You know what? Pause this. I'm going to go change. I knew we could have done this in PJs. I'd be there.
We definitely could have done that as well. And so obviously we're talking about the New Year's. We are going to talk about our top resolutions for the dealerships, what we should be looking forward to in 2023. But we can only do this correctly with the New Year's is that we got to obviously be toasting to this as well. And so that we are talking offline and this got into another fun-filled topic. So hang with us a little bit as we get into that. But so in our cups right now, we are going to be cheering as well. So thank you, obviously, Dealer Belt and Vista Dash for sponsoring my cup this morning and afternoon. So we are cheersing as well to 2023, 2022, into 2023 as we go through our new resolutions. So thank you very much.
Thank it.
Thank it.
And Dusty had a nice, I learned something about is it military or is it a certain branch?
It's particularly the Navy. The Navy's known for this. So,
So I have confirmed my brother does not have a cup like that. He says it's gross.
So for those
He knows
who
what we're talking about. So the real quick story.
He knows what you're talking about, though. He says there's a lot of people that do. He does not.
Yeah. So in August of 1999, I got my first set of orders to an aircraft carrier. Actually, excuse me, back up. I got them before that, but when I arrived to my aircraft carrier, the USS Theodore Roosevelt, many, many years ago, I was like I might have been 19 at the time, just turned 19. And so when you first check on board, they give you like a little gift to check on board. So it's like a lighter with the ship's emblem on it, or a coffee cup, or a t-shirt, or what have you. So I chose the coffee cup. And this coffee cup was rinsed out one time in August of 99 and hasn't been washed since. There's been some issues where somebody has almost washed it and arguments about it, and it just doesn't happen. But it's like seasoning a cast iron skillet. Yeah. So as you can see inside of that bad boy.
So for the audience that's not watching this, you're gonna have to go back to YouTube or to LinkedIn or view this, because Dusty right now is holding a mug that looks like it's white on the outside, but inside looks like, I'm gonna say tar is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, tar.
Yeah.
So we call it anchor coffee. You know why you call it anchor coffee?
It looks like all the stuff that's on an anchor.
No. That way coffee's so thick, when you put an anchor in it, it'll stand up. It won't fall over.
It looks like coffee grounds have been like grounded into the side of that and just like plastered on it at this point.
You just pour some water in it. That's it.
That's
water,
it.
toss it out.
Basically how it works, man.
No,
That's
like
phenomenal.
No.
I know no
That's-
soap, but like no wipe at all. Not even
No wipe. No
wipes.
A little rinse, a little shaky poo, a little pour out. On with your business.
Yeah. So I'm like in April right now, saying it's probably okay if only black, no additives. So it's good. It's good. It's just straight coffee. Okay. So with that, let's jump into this. So as with any time, as you end of the year, we're looking. It's been. I kind of alluded to this yesterday a little bit, but we had 2020 where it was just. We've never seen anything like it, obviously. Then we had 2021 and 2022. There has been so much that's been packed into this year. And as we look into going to 2023, I wanted to, Dusty and I were talking about this, I think it was last week, Dusty, and just kind of looking at, okay, what is it we're looking to in 2023? What are we going to continue to do? What are we going to stop doing? And then more, what should dealers be looking to be doing? And what should those resolutions be doing? What should their goals be doing? So, Dusty, since I started the conversation with you, I'm going to start with you. What are some, we'll just kind of go around the horn. I'm going to start with Dusty. Give us your first one or two or three or however many you want to give, and then Nathanael, and then up to Bill.
So when you brought this up to me, you hear a lot of folks in the automotive space, and they'll talk about a handful of things ad nauseum, like and this is stuff that we talk about in our meetings too with Bill and our internal company meetings and how to be better and all that type of stuff. And one of the things that I think that people bring up quite a bit is decision making at the lowest level possible. Everybody having the abilities to take care of their customers, everybody having that ability to make a decision to do right by the customer, and everybody having that. So that's one thing that I kind of wanted to talk about today. And how do we go about doing that? Because the idea of allowing everybody from the porter to a salesperson to the GM, GSM, everybody in between, making a decision that makes everything right for the customer. How do we do that? What has to be in place for something like that to happen? Because if you don't have a good leadership mentality or principles or a mission statement, things like that, and I'll dive into it a little bit later, but if you don't have that stuff in place, it's very hard for a company to allow the lowest level folks that work there to make decisions that are best for the customer. They'll always go, hey, I need to talk to my manager, or oh, hey, I need to do this, which is annoying for the customer. So we want to make it easier for the customer. I saw, and just to kind of reiterate. Yeah, sure. There you go. Thank you.
Gotcha.
My brainsy's quit.
Coffee or what's in it?
Maybe both. But somebody said the other day in a post, they said, what's the hardest job in the dealership? And I said something that was a little bit tongue in cheek, but I believe it, that the customer is the hardest job in the dealership. And it shouldn't be that way. I've got a saying that if you make it easy for the customer to make a decision, it's easy for the customer to make a decision. So all of those things have to have a certain amount of stuff in place for that to take place. And I'm going to do those three things. There's three specific things that have to be in place for everybody to be able to make a decision for the right thing for the customer. And I think it's something that everybody should work on. Number one is principles, guiding principles. You should have 5 to 10 guiding principles that help with decision making and leadership and what they should be. And I've got 11 of them from the Navy that I'll never forget. They're always in my head, and it's how I live and how I work and how I lead. The second thing is a set of values. So again, go back to the Navy, is honor, courage, and commitment. And then last but not least is a mission statement or a mission. So if you have values, principles, and a mission, you give the customer, or excuse me, you give the lowest level decision-making possible to the lowest levels, to the folks that are going to be touching the customers and being able to take care of the customers. And that's extremely important. So having values, principles, and a mission statement written out that everybody knows, believes, and can recite will help choosing the right folks and allowing those folks to make the right decisions. So going into the new year, if you don't have principles, mission statement, or values, you should write those down.
Yeah, that was. If you didn't catch all that, I was ferociously writing over here.
I'm a fast talker. Sorry.
No,
Dusty is a really fast talker,
and I'm right there with you. It's yeah, I'm right there with you. So right there. So the main point for that, if I heard you correctly on all that, Dusty, is that guiding principles. You have honor, value, principles, commitment, mission statement, and value statement.
So
Sum
yeah,
that up, and then from the lowest totem pole,
honor,
whether
courage, commitment.
Honors, courage, commitment, and whether you turn off the lights up to the person signing the checks, the name on the building, make sure that person has the ability to make decisions and that they're not feeling left out, that they have a voice.
I'll share these I'll share these with you a little bit later, Brooke, and that way you can post these. But let me talk about principles first. When we talk about Navy leadership principles, number one is know your people and look out for their welfare. Easy. It's like the simplest thing. Know your people and look out for their welfare. I remember before every patrol when we would set out. So I was a Navy corpsman. I was with the green side for most of my career, but I was on a carrier before. But no matter where I was, the same principle or the same thing, it meant the same thing. So before we would step out on patrol, we would all check each other. We would check each other's gear, look at each other's face, see how our mindset was, make sure we weren't sick, make sure we weren't scared, make sure all that stuff. Next thing is keep your people informed. Everybody from the top up and down needs to know, because if people aren't informed, they get nervous. And when they get nervous, they get scared. And when they get scared, they're scared of making decisions because they're not a part of that. So obviously there's some stuff that most folks don't need to know about, but there are some things, if it involves everybody from top to bottom, everybody needs to know about it. The next one is know yourself and seek self-improvement. So always know, I think in business, they say, hire your, what is it? Work your strengths and hire your weaknesses. It's self-awareness, have self-awareness basically, and then always continue to work on yourself. The next is be technically and tactically proficient, which means know your job, know what you're supposed to do, because nobody, if you're in a position of leadership and you don't know your job, the folks below you are never going to respect you and they're never going to bring you problems. They're never going to trust you with their issues. So knowing your job is tantamount to that. So next is seek responsibility and take responsibility. So if you're always looking for responsibility or something to take charge of, you also should be taking responsibility as well. So if there's an action or something that you do, be forthright with it and just come out and say it. The next is to make sound and timely decisions. So what does that mean? Sometimes I think somebody said making a decision is better than thinking about and making the right decision and taking that time. So if you make a sound decision based on what you know in real time, make it. Next is set the example. As often as and always, set the example. That goes without saying. Develop a sense of responsibility in your subordinates. How do you do that? That's with the values and the mission statement. They should always, the folks that work for you or work with you should always feel that they have as much ownership in the company as you do. Ensure the task is understood, that it's supervised, and it's accomplished. That means if you're going to set something out, make sure that you know what those KPIs, we all like to say KPI. So put the KPIs in place and then follow up with what those KPIs, everything should be measurable. Everything should be measurable in some form of fashion. And then ensure the task, I already said that. Train your team, train your people as a team. Now, is there individual
Please.
training? Yeah, there's individual training, and you work on things that some folks don't quite understand or they can't get over that hump. But when you train your people as a team, you're showing how to start at the top and lead all the way up and down that chain of command, and how to push those ideas and keep everybody on the same sheet of music. Because if you're given training 15, 16 times, it's like, tell a phone, tell a friend, tell a car salesperson. It's going to get garbled. And then last but not least, and this is one of the most important things, is employ your unit in accordance with its capabilities, which means when you have people that have strengths in X, put them in X. If they don't know it and you know that they don't know it, don't put them in a situation to fail. If you do put them in a situation that's going to allow them to stretch, make sure that you're meeting with those folks constantly and continuously and making sure that they understand when something's going right and when something's going wrong. Don't wait until the wheels fall off before that happens. But if you're a leader that wants to give responsibilities and allow for everybody within your business to make decisions, you have to start with those leadership principles. Then you can move on to the other things.
Well, that's a wrap, everybody.
I know.
Everyone,
So
have a good day.
follow that one up.
Cheers to that.
So Nathaniel, good luck following that one up, buddy.
Sorry.
So whatever's left of that one, you want to pick up the dribbles of that one? No. So before we go on there was so much to unpack there, and I know there was a lot there, everyone. So what I'm going to ask is that because there was so much there, is that when obviously, as you all know, this is going to go up to YouTube. Probably I usually do this on Wednesday. Next Wednesday, it's going to podcast land, and it'll go on YouTube. So go rewatch this, go re-listen to it. There's gonna be a lot there. I'm like, as I said before, I'm ferociously writing this all down. There's a lot there. Bottom line, get everyone involved. Communicate. And communicate some more. There's just a lot to this, and as always, is that it's taking elephant biting the elephant one bite at a time. You cannot do all of it all at once. So take one bit of it and think, okay, I'm going to focus on this little portion of it. Because once that foundation, you've got a foundation, as there's a little bit of crack, that water is going to find the crack, and then it's just going to explode, and then that foundation is ruined. So you've got to lay that foundation first, and then once from there, okay, then I can go to this portion, then I can go to this portion, because Dusty just had a mic drop moment of having all this. Now I've got other incredible people on this panel here, as I said before, and they're all going to do other awesome things that they're going to say as well. And you're like, Brooke, how do I do this all? Take it one thing at a time, because we look at these resolutions, and they're just like the gym analogy I said yesterday, was that you see everyone at the gym, they flood the gym, and then by February they're all gone. They're all these short-term goals, if you will, but they're not. They're just whatever. So I'm gonna, Nathaniel, bring it over to you now. Have at it, Taco Cat. Let's go.
So it's great. Leadership is a huge part, and I'm a huge follower of John Maxwell, and his main overarching theme is that everything rises and falls on leadership. So, I'm not going to touch any more on leadership. I think that's a really good place to start and dive into for anyone who's watching or listening, whether it's on YouTube, on the podcast, or anything like that. So I'm not going to touch any more on that. I think one of the biggest things is execution. I think that's a huge flaw with everybody, including myself. I don't execute as much as I should. I think we all get stuck in this planning phase, and we always think that we need one more thing before we start, or another. For instance, anyone who wants to start a podcast, right? The first thing they're going to go is, well, what equipment do I need to start a podcast? All you need is a phone. That's all you need is a phone, right? At the end of the day, that's all you need. You can use Anchor, you could use that, but we all get stuck in our head. Oh, well, I really need the best audio. I need the best video. And that's, I'm going to need a Roadcaster, and that's $600. I need a microphone, and that's $900. And then just start, right? Especially, I'm going to go where I know best, and that's social media. For anyone who doesn't know, I am the Chief Digital Branding Leader of Mohawk Auto Group. So I help run with the team that I have about 9 pages plus. 9+ pages. And the biggest thing that we find, especially now, which is where we're diving more into the individual salesperson branding and the individual salesperson pushing more of themselves out there as much as we do. I can't post on behalf of 25 different salespeople. I just can't do it. I'm one human being. We have 3 people on the team. Like, we just can't do it. It's physically impossible. The numbers don't work out. If I wanted to do that, I'd have to hire 12 more people. Especially, and that's just one store. So the biggest thing that we come into is, well, I don't know what to post. What am I supposed to do? And we get caught up in the romanticism of nobody wants to listen to me. And, that's, in a sense, that is true, but you have to make people want to listen to you. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is by consistently posting everything. Well, not everything. Grain of salt, everybody. Let's put a grain of salt on that. Post as frequent and as much as you can. Everyone's like, Nate is the social media guru. Well, if you look at my last post, it's been a while since I've posted on my own personal page. That's because I've taken some time off. But I'm in the planning phase right now to my execution of 2023. I'm in the planning phase of starting different things. We all have to have a planning phase, but we can't get stuck in that planning phase. We actually have to execute. And I'm new to the game. I'm only been at Mohawk for 6 years. Right? I've only been in the automotive industry 6 years. And for me to be on a podcast with amazing human beings that have been in the automotive space longer than I've been in the automotive space is humbling. And it's only because someone has pointed out to me that, bro, you just execute. And as much as I believe that I execute, I know that I don't execute enough. And for me, the next 2023 year is going to be execution and helping people execute. Because even though I am not the expert per se, I'm an enthusiast. I constantly look at social media. I constantly look at everything that makes me who I am. And a lot of it is self-awareness, right? Like we just talked about this. You have to have a lot of self-awareness as a leader. Even as a person, everybody's a leader. Everybody leads somebody. And we all have to look on the inside and figure out what we want in life. And there's a bunch of books that I put on my Amazon wish list. One of which is right here. I have another one, but I just bought this. Actually, I got this for Christmas. But, these are all the things that I know that I have to learn more about the automotive retail space. Like there's things that people are talking about that I still don't know. And I've been here for 5 years. And it's because I focus more on social media and how can I build a brand for an automotive dealership. And I focus on people's sentiment and I focus on people in our local community and I focus on content that people want to see. So I kind of, let's open up to here. Let's see. Tires. Well, I could talk about how I could fill up a tire and TPMS and all the content, but I could never tell you, the gross or the net that we get from our tires and, all the things that go into running an automotive dealership, which I should probably learn a little bit more about in terms of marketing, because then I can know how much of an impact I'm making. But that's like all of these things are compounding, but it just starts with execution, right? Like I didn't start with a Sony A7 R4. I started with an iPhone 7 shooting with a selfie stick. I got to find that photo. I think I have it on my computer somewhere, but that's my thought that I always think about is the gratitude I have of where I am now started with the gratitude I had when I said, holy crap, I have an iPhone 7. Wow. Let's start making something. What can I make? And that's exactly how we have to run into for anybody who's starting. We have to run into it with the mindset of, wow, I have an iPhone 13. I have an iPhone 10. I have an iPhone 14. Like if you have bought the brand new iPhone 14, like I'm using my iPhone right now as a webcam. Like, what is this? Like, what age are we living in where we think we need to have all of the expensive stuff to just start? So for anyone, the one word I would say for everybody out there is execution. Get started and your work will speak for itself.
I think a famous poet once said, just do it.
I literally was just going to say, I did an entire episode, Nathanael, on Just Do It, where it's just too often what stops so many of us is that we just won't do the fear just paralyzes you. And it's exactly what you said. Oh, I don't have the right equipment. I go back and look at my first episodes and I go, oh my gosh, they're horrible. But it's not that they're horrible. Exactly what you said is that you just turn on the camera, and that camera can be this. It can be the webcam on your what is this thing? It's called a Mac. It's called a computer is what it's called, Brooke. Sometimes I forget what those words are, but it just turn on the camera. And as things grow and you progress, you can always upgrade to different technology, but it's the content. Are you saying something that's going to resonate with other people? But that fear that you got to spend all this money. No, don't do that. And anyone that's actually done this, well, that will be the first thing they tell you is don't go spend all this money on that. It's not that it's crap, but it's crap because you don't need that up front. Just do it, dude. And as all of us on this, just do it. Great advice.
The beautiful thing about what Nate's saying is make a connection with the community the best way you know how, which is educate and think about how you're going to serve. I mean, Damian says it the best, Damian Boudreaux, seek to serve your community first and it'll serve you. So if you're out there giving knowledge to your community that helps them make their job at the dealership easier, to go back to that, to say what's the hardest job in the dealership, the customer, anything that you can do to help serve that customer or help serve them by teaching them something. I remember in 2009, I would do these quick 30-second to a minute videos for YouTube of how to put air in a tire, or how the horn would honk on a Nissan Quest when the tires were filled up. What different things meant, and just how could customers use their cars better or understand more. And so when you start to do that, you're serving the community, you're educating the community, and you're doing good things for it. And that's the point. When you're trying to think, oh man, what do I need to do? Well, why don't you teach your customer how to, I don't know, set their presets on their new big screen inside their truck. Just go out and show them how to do that. Just a 30-second video, show how to do that. Something that little spark gets things going, and it just makes you more and more and more comfortable. Has anybody ever seen Joe Rogan's first podcast?
Nope.
It was a mess.
It was bad. It was bad.
And now the guy is the most prolific interviewer of all time, period.
I think I love how you talked about Joe Rogan, because the first thing that I think about is obviously social media is. Everyone's like, okay, you need short form content only, short form. And the funny part is that as much as yes, but that's dependent on the platform you're on, right? Like the attention, which is what social media and marketing is all about, is the attention. Where are the people looking? How are the people consuming? And as much as I love short form content, long form content comes in a huge play, because the short form and the micro content, yes, they're two different in my opinion. They lead to your long form content. So everyone's like, well, only short form works. And then I always like to come back to, let me talk to you about the last time someone watched a Joe Rogan podcast. How long are Joe Rogan podcasts?
3 hours.
3 hours long. 3 hours. And I always like to point to this as well. My daughter is 2 years old. What does everybody say about a toddler?
Yeah, they don't got no concentration.
No concentration. They can't spend time. They can't spend enough attention on anything. But if I put on big comfy couch that's a half hour long, she will sit on that couch and watch 4 episodes. That's 2 hours of just like this. Why? Because we captured the attention of what they want to see. And there's just so much context in that it's like, yes, short form content works, but why are you doing the short form content? What value is it bringing? Why are you doing this long form content? What value is it bringing? If you are creating value content, regardless of how long it is, somebody's going to watch. It depends on your audience. It depends on the content that's being played in there and what you are bringing to the table. It's not the algorithm. The algorithm gives people what they want to see. Oh my gosh, no. You mean to tell me that I can't put lease specials all the time on my page and nobody's going to see it?
Right. You know, I gotta drop something in on this. And this is to your point. If you understand your customer, and we have a saying inside of Cognition Digital, and everybody will hear it. We say it all the time. But if your customer feels understood, they're more likely to do business with you.
Amen.
Now,
Amen.
What does that mean? Hey, there's James. James, we love you.
Hey, James, what's up, brother?
Hey, James.
So, and everybody else, Steve, Kevin, thanks everybody. But what I was saying is if the customer feels understood, or they feel represented by what you're talking about, or they feel like it's, has everybody been to church and the pastor's up talking and you like turn around and go, am I the only person in church? Because I feel like he's talking to me. It's an audience first strategy. And we say this in Cognition, not that this is a pitch, but go with me on this. Understanding the audience and then presenting something to that audience that shows that you understand them will draw them in. It will, and to Nathan's point, my son watches soccer videos and baseball videos, and that's it. He's 7 years old, and that's all his little brain thinks about is soccer and baseball. Now, is that every 7-year-old? No. But if you want to reach my 7-year-old, soccer and baseball. So now you're like, okay, I've got a product that sells soccer balls and baseballs to 7-year-olds. Well, guess what? When you choose that audience and then you speak directly to that audience and show that audience and draw in that audience, they're more likely to go to your long form, which, so for instance, we shoot these 30-second commercials, or deliver a 30-second commercial that says, hey, you 7-year-old that likes baseball and soccer, I understand you, and that's why you should do business here. And then they turn around and go, I want to go do business with that company because they understand me, or I want to watch more of their stuff, or I want to do more of their stuff. So in all things, what we're trying to do is take short form and get them to our long form. Short form meaning, hey, come see us. They come in, or do business with us, or watch more of this, or watch more of that. So to Nathan's point, actually, he's on this side. It's freaking me out.
You're on this side.
And it's going to flip. Once this gets done, it's going to flip. So, yeah.
Okay, so wherever Nathan is at this point in time, to his point, is if the customer feels understood by your short form content and it draws them in, now they're going to want to spend more time with you.
Right.
And to bring this back up, I'm going to bring Steve Apicell's comment back up here again. So anyone that doesn't know, Steven Apicella is with Strategic DX, your deal experience. And if you don't know his tool, please go look up Steve. So Steve's phenomenal, awesome product. He has 22,000 followers on Strategic DX, your dealer experience LinkedIn page with nothing fancy, just relevant content and real solutions. Now, I also want to point out, Steve, I believe you don't have a Facebook page. You guys don't have an Instagram page. You have YouTube. So you have your website, you have LinkedIn, and you have YouTube. On their LinkedIn page, 22,000 followers, nothing fancy, but their content is relevant.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. So they know the message, they've reached their audience, and it's what the consumer wants. They know what they're talking about. So I just want to bring that comment up because for anyone that's watching, that's listening to this, wouldn't have seen that, and I just want to, yeah. So
to his point, he's where his community is. Mm-hmm. And that's very, very, very important. So understanding where your community hangs out, whether it be Facebook or the coffee shop or wherever that is, if you're that dealer and you know where your community is and you're not there, that's mission number 1 or 2 on your list is be where my community is.
Yep. Brian Ortega also does a great job with this. Brian, create content that crushes. Yeah.
Yep. You're my boy, Brian.
Yeah, buddy.
Everybody.
Yeah, buddy.
I love Brian.
Brian's the best.
Brian, by the way, not to go too deep into this, but he helped make me a lord in Scotland for Christmas.
That was phenomenal, by the way. That was
great.
That
Lord
yes.
Dusty.
Lord Dusty, indeed. Yeah.
And from here on out, I would really appreciate you all calling.
I don't know why your name is not Lord Dusty, by the way.
Yeah,
you put it as Dusty
Lord
Sutherland.
Colonel Sutherland on there.
Lord Colonel Sutherland.
All right, Bill, bring us home, buddy. What is on your New Year's resolutions for 2023?
So I don't do New Year's resolutions.
Okay, goals.
And the reason is I don't set a date in my life for when I'm going to do something. If I know something needs done or changed, the moment that I know that and don't do something, that responsibility falls on me. I'm not against anybody who does, and if that's how they accomplish things, that's great. But it's never worked for me. And related to, it's hard to follow Dusty and Nathanael. Nathanael, if I ever hear you degrade or denigrate your own value again, I'm gonna come get that shirt. So let's just be clear. I wrote down the embodiment of what you said. Less is more. The KISS principle. Everybody knows what that is. And everybody leads somebody. There's no other. You've heard. I wrote a post on LinkedIn probably a year ago, and it just reiterated, oh, everybody get ready. We're about to hear back to basics. You got to go back to basics. Well, if basics are so important, why do we ever leave them? There's no need to ever leave basics. And here's the crux of, I think, what you ask. It's no one pays me a higher honor than when they invite me to contribute. And when they invite me to contribute with other professionals, and in my world, a professional is not just somebody who gets paid. It's somebody who excels at their craft. And for me, I'll give a quick example. I'm writing a book, Everything I Know About People I Learned from a Horse. And people are going to question, what could Schomburg ever offer related to his experience with a horse? Well, I was fortunate to compete at a very high level. And that was during the phase of my career when I got paid to be a horse trainer. I never honed my craft, and I hold myself responsible for the failure to do that. Now, when I started an entirely new career, I'd just gotten married. I married late in life, but a couple of years later, my wife looked up and she said, "You need a hobby." And what she was saying was, "You're driving me insane with the focus on your business." It was the best advice anyone could ever give me. And I'll try to make this a little bit shorter. A woman in the horse business who had more talent in her little finger than I did in my whole body, close friend of mine, but she never once asked for my opinion related to a horse when I had a shingle hung out. A few years into horses and a hobby, she asked me to help her with a truly remarkable individual. I did so. 20 years later, I asked her the question, why was that? Why did you never ask my opinion? And then when I leave the business, you reach out. And she said, "You honed your craft. You did something when I was," and it all boils down to this statement that she made. "You were doing everything the same that everybody else was doing. You weren't doing anything different when you were a paid professional." What I saw when I saw the change in another horse that you had worked with, and I asked, "What did they do with that horse?" She said, "You'll have to ask Bill." 20 years later, I thought that I had changed what she did with horses. She told me that I had changed her life. To your point, Nathanael, you never know who's watching. And that idea of watching and leading, that's why I was so harsh on you about denigrating. I've been in the industry 1 year less than you. I have maybe far more years of experience, but everybody brings value. And my circle stays relatively small because it's so hard to find value. And I know each of you on this panel because of you were doing something different than anyone else did, and you created the value, and I wanted to learn from the best I could find, and I'll never stop that, and nor should anyone else. So, Brooke, it's an honor to be included. I don't know that I want to go head to head with two other stars like this again. Well, I should say three, because the time I spent with you and your husband at your home was one of the highlights of the 5 years I've been in business. So thank you very, very much for the opportunity to contribute. All of those, Kevin, April, Stephen, James, etc. I love the accolades, but each of you bring the value that I've expressed, and that's why you're so important in my own life and development and career. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, that's
love you, Bill. I have to tell
Love
you,
you too.
I have to tell you right now, my kids absolutely love Bill. They love him so much. Bill, I'm sorry, I got to do this. Now the whole world's going to know. They came up with a nickname for him, Brooke.
Ooh, yes.
Nathan, do you know what it is?
I don't know, but I'm excited.
It's Bill Pickle.
Yes.
And listen, when I ever feel like I'm full of myself or know it all, I get in a real good knockdown, drag out argument with Bill. And I just,
or you could call it frustrating.
He was right, or maybe I was right. But I think in life, we all need a Bill in our life. We really do. So, maybe that's something that you all should do. If anybody's listening out there and you don't have a Bill in your life, or you don't have a Damian, or you don't have a dad, or you don't have a grandpa, you don't have an uncle, find somebody that you could say, tell me I'm stupid. Tell me I'm dumb. Tell me I'm thinking wrong. Tell me I'm thinking right. Argue with me. Because I argue with my mom when we're working on something, and it drives my wife nuts. She hates it. So as a matter of fact, if my mom and I are working on a project, my wife just off she goes because she don't want to hear it. But the reason we do it is she is arguing with me about my decision making in real time, and telling me why I should be doing it differently. And she had a saying that said, and she used to tell me this as a kid, and it didn't make any sense until a few years ago. She would say, never learn from anybody else's mistakes. You may be the only idiot that gets it right. And it was a very tongue-in-cheek statement to tell me, other people have been there. I'm not as dumb as you look. Listen, just take it, even if you don't follow it, a couple years from now, you may go, oh man, Bill was right. Mom was right. Nathan was right. So on and so forth. So if you don't have that person that will tell you, honestly, you're screwing up, something's going wrong, you're thinking right, you're thinking good, you're extremely smart, whatever that is, whatever you need in your life for that, get that.
Find a mentor.
Find it.
So true.
Yeah, you should definitely find a mentor.
You got to pay for it. It's not the right one.
No.
It really isn't.
You've got stop living in an echo chamber, man. I've seen this. Whether it doesn't matter what industry you're in, all industries have this, but you get a lot of people get so caught up, and I'm just going to be this group over here because we all say the same thing. We're like-minded and blah yada yada. The problem with that is that you and everyone's just saying the same thing back and forth, and it's just a sounding board back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, how are you going to grow? How do you expect to grow when you're only doing that? You've got to, exactly what Dusty is saying, is that you've got to have someone push back on that. And even in your own workplace, in your whatever your business you are, is to have someone, especially as a leader, be okay with the fact and secure enough in yourself to be able to have someone come up to you in a professional way saying, you're wrong. And here's the reason why. But be able to take that and once again, secure enough in yourself and be like, okay, great. Where did I screw up and how did I screw up and how can I fix this? How can I be better from it?
And don't believe that your mentor has to come from the industry that you're in.
Yes.
Because business is business. And if you don't believe that, I don't believe you have enough experience yet. And the mentor can be younger or older.
Yeah.
I'm so fortunate, amazingly blessed to work alongside the team that Carson Henry and the founders have created. I've never learned as much as I have from our team and our leader.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Amen.
Carson, there's one beautiful thing about what Carson does is constantly put decision making back in our lap and says make decisions, and it's constantly pushing all of us to serve our customers better. It really is. And I mean, to listen more, to think about what we're saying, to think about what we're doing. Vasilios does the same thing. Hey, think about what you're putting out there. Think about how you look. Think about how you come across. And it starts to really seep into your life when you have a good collection of people around you that will tell you things that are difficult, things that are tough. It starts to push you, and just like when you go in there and start lifting weights and you start shredding all that muscle, when it comes back stronger, it comes back bigger.
If you ever question my advice and where it comes from, imagine a career, 20 years a horse trainer, 20 years building synthetic grass sports fields all over the world, and now 5 years in automotive, and now advising a tech company. Proof positive of you have no idea of what your capabilities are until you test them.
Amen.
Amen. All right, gentlemen, this has been awesome. Thank you so much.
I got one more thing.
Oh, bring it.
I think the biggest thing that you can do, the best thing that you can do whenever you're making a decision to do something, whether it's, or this mentor thing that we keep talking about, is have someone that asks why. Why do you want to do this?
Yeah.
The best, I mean, I am beyond blessed to be at Mohawk Auto Group, because not only, they don't just say yes to things, they ask why. Why do you want to do this? The way that I can kind of correlate this in terms of the gear that I have is because we built it up over time. And the best way that they built me up was, why do you need this equipment? Why do you want this equipment? And it wasn't just, well, I saw someone have it and I think it's a good idea. It was, all right, this is what I want you to do. I want you to write it out. I want you to put everything on there, write out what it's going to do, why it's going to be better, and bring it to me. And I do. I still have those on my computer. And still to this day, like, I even fight myself on it. It's like, why are they asking me why? Don't they believe me already? But it goes to that mentorship of, they want to know why, because they're pushing you to consciously think about why you want to do this. Why is it worth it? It's that business is business. I love that you said that, because there is, if I could put that out there for anybody who is thinking about, well, I think I keep going to them and they keep asking me why. And I'm so frustrated because I know why. Well, write it out. Think about it strategically. Mm-hmm. How is it going to benefit? Think about everything all the way through. And I've been so blessed for someone to consciously push back, but also give, right? Like, after I did all of that, they're like, that looks good. Like, cool. And they had the belief in me to actually purchase $25,000 worth of equipment.
Yeah.
And now they come back to me and say, that was actually a really good decision that we were able to believe you and do that, because we started off with an iPhone 7 and then we went to a Canon, and now we switched over to Sony based on recommendations that I had because I had done my research. Mm-hmm. And this is what I wanted the outcome to be. And that's why we've added people, because now it's like, well, why do you want another person? Well, this is why I need another person. This is where we want to go. This is how we want to do it. And for 2023, I talked about it yesterday. I was driving and I happened to turn on the Coffee Guy podcast with Fred and Lou, and they come on and they're like, well, what are you doing for next year? I'm like, man, well, I want to boost up my YouTube. Well, why? Why do I want to boost up my YouTube? Well, it's going to help my SEO. It's going to help all of these different things. I'm going to be able to take all of that, transform it into short form. And then on top of that, I'm going to be able to add on some micro content. So if someone's just hopping on and has no idea what I'm talking about in terms of long form, short form, and micro, you have your long form, which is like this. You have this podcast, you create a video that you throw up on YouTube, and then you have your short form video, which is the little snippets you take from this long form. And then on top of that, you have your micro, which is just the other stuff that doesn't come from this long form. Like, you don't take it and you snip it up. This is just ad hoc. I'm going to talk about the what Dusty was talking about. I'm going to take this short video. Someone asked me a question. I'm just going to go make content on it. Or I'm going to make a fun reel about something. I'm going to make a fun TikTok. You know, those are the three different segments that I would put, and they all go into different categories onto different platforms of social media to where your attention is different. Everybody puts on a different hat on social media, which social media platform you're on. If you're on YouTube, that's the reason why the 3 hour works, because you're on YouTube. When you go to Instagram, you're looking for something that Instagram has already told you what you're going to be provided for on Instagram. When you're on Facebook, you're already looking for something that Facebook told you you're going to get on Facebook. When you're on TikTok, and so on, all the other platforms. But continuously asking yourself, why do I want to be there? What value does it have is one of the biggest things you can do.
If you ever needed an understanding of why Mohawk made a good decision adding Nathanael to their team.
Yes. And I'll couple that with is that always work backwards. So before you add another tool, or before you add, do I really need the CTA? Do I need to add this red shiny object? Work backwards and say, do we actually need this? Think backwards of the process, and then work forward to say, do we actually need this? Exactly what Nathaniel's saying is then work backwards to work forward.
We made it all the way through the segment without a buzzword. And then you just said shiny object.
Well,
those of us that's been in the business for a long time can draw this down to one thing that I think it's kind of funny is everybody heard of the Ben Franklin close? You know what that is? Put all the good stuff on one side, all the bad stuff on the other. And if the good stuff outweighs the bad stuff, do it. But understanding why you're putting something in place. This is the one thing that I wrote down when you talk about community is being the hub, understanding, helping the community, showing the community that you understand. But showing the community you understand means more than just putting out a commercial. That means that the website is easy to navigate based on what the community is used to. You know, listen, how many companies do we know out there right now that has a dealer focus group that they bring together their group of dealers that use their product that tells them, hey, we would like to have this, or we would like to see this, or we would like to do this, or we take opinions from these from these other. What's wrong with a dealership doing the exact same thing? You know, what's wrong with a dealer grabbing 30, 40 people from their community, bringing them in and go, hey, thanks for buying a car from us a couple years ago. Let me ask you why you did it. Let me ask you about what we could do better. Let me ask you about this. Let me ask you about that. You know, hey, our website's set up like this. Is this easy for you to use? You know, yeah, James. Yeah, original close, the Ben Franklin close. I love it. But see, understanding why you're getting ready to put something into motion. If you have something on your website, who is it serving? What is it doing? I was in a meeting not long ago, and this came up in a meeting today with us. I heard another vendor say the words, this product is doing great things for us. Now, what does that say to the dealer? You see what I'm saying? Like this is serving us well. It's not, hey, a couple dealers did this, and this is how the community received it. This is how their customers received it, and this is how it worked. And this brought up things, or lowered this, or made this better, this is doing great things for us. Now, as a vendor, yeah, it's great that something that your product that you made is doing great things for you, but that's not the point. You make these products to serve a problem for your community so your customers get better, right? You want to make them the hero. Who cares about you being the hero? They need to be the hero. And so, you know, just to end it on that note, for me, is when you work with your vendors, make sure you have a launch call, make sure that the vendor can explain to you how it's going to serve your community, not just them and you specifically, how it's going to make them better, how it's going to make them the hero, understanding expectations, KPIs, who's who, all of that type of stuff. So that if you're not holding your vendor to that, or the vendor's not holding the dealer to that, there's going to be a failure in both parts. And the product's never going to work. Nobody's ever going to use it. Nobody understands it. Nobody cares.
We could. I'm pretty sure we could have like 3 episodes on that.
We have a lot of conversations. Brooke and I have tons of conversations.
We have so many conversations about that. Just before you do that, you better be grilling. I literally sent off an email yesterday. I just missed I don't know if you guys saw that. I missed my desk. I was like, whoa. But no, it is like I had an entire conversation with one of my clients yesterday about this. I just said, hey, when you become a client, like Mama Bear comes out and I protect you at all costs. And it was not a business partner. It was a vendor. I just said, hey, I'm going to grill you like crazy because we have a mutual client and you're not looking out for their best interest. And as Dusty, and you all know, the gloves kind of come off when you start taking advantage of a client of mine. I'll give you one shot. And when you make it clear to me that you don't have their best interest in mind, it's not a good situation. And but when you decide to come on board with someone as a dealership, if you don't know the questions to ask, have someone on staff or hire someone that knows the questions to ask, because they're going to sell you a bill of goods. They will. It is your job then to say, all right, does it do this? Does it do this? How can we be most successful together to get to that end goal? And too often it's just like, we're just going to buy it. But to Dusty's point but why? How are we going to get there? Because they've sold you, but you got to get to that end goal. And it's, but that's also why I have
We
a
could
job.
spend 3 hours talking.
Oh yeah. 100%. But we're going to wrap. What was that, Bill?
Facts, not feelings.
Oh man. Yeah. All right. With that, we were talking before the show. I had all these fun little new toys, and unfortunately, none of the sounds are working right now. So we're gonna do a pretend. There we go. Lightning sounds right now, and we're gonna jump into the lightning round here. And with that, the first question that everyone's gonna get asked is for the viewers that are listening in podcast land, where they can find you. I know that you all have the little personalized link that is in the show notes, and we're gonna show up here again. But we're going to start with Bill, work your way down on where everyone can find you. And we're going to go Bill, Nathaniel, and Dusty. Where can the viewers find you?
The easiest way to find me is Facebook, LinkedIn, or Clubhouse. My first name spelled, last name spelled. All my contact info is on any of those profiles. Okay.
Nathaniel, I know there's a lot of them.
So you can find me personally on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok. I am also on Clubhouse too. I just forgot about that one, Bill. I should put that on my social profiles. Anyway, you can also follow Mohawk Auto Group at pretty much anywhere you consume content. Mohawk Honda, Mohawk Chevrolet, Mohawk Collision. But feel free to reach out to me at any time, any point, if you have questions about social media. And there might be a group coming up for the automotive content creators. So be on the lookout for that so I can help out as many content creators in the automotive industry as possible. If you are a social media creator for an automotive group, dealership, doesn't matter. Come on in. We're going to have some fun with that one.
Let me know about that. I'd like to get involved with that. That sounds fun, Nathan.
Sweet. Killer. Dusty.
Hey, yeah, you can find me at Great American Ballpark in the summertime and Paul Brown Stadium.
With some glizzies.
With some Skyline chili. You know me. You can find me at Skyline, chilling it up. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all that stuff. If you really like watching videos of my daughter shooting hoops or my son kicking soccer balls like a little Pele, rest in peace.
Yes.
R.I.P.
Yeah, you can find me on there.
Awesome. And yes,
and cognitiondigital.io.
There you go. And his kids are awesome at sports. So
my kids are amazing. I'm way blessed.
It's awesome. All right. So since Dusty, you answered last one to answer first. What is your favorite thing to do outside of work? Favorite hobbies? What you doing?
Coaching, youth sports. I love coaching youth sports. Greatest thing I've ever done in my life. If there's one thing I could tell you to do to get involved in your community is be a coach. Kids need them bad. There are not enough coaches out there, not enough good coaches out there. And I think kids today need to learn that it's good to be competitive. It's good to want to win. It's good to hate to lose, how to learn how to lose, and how to play their position and worry about something outside of themselves. If you can get kids to understand that, we're going to be in a much better place as a country.
Yes.
Coach youth sports, please.
Second that, my friend. All right, Nathaniel. Same question.
All right. Well, this is going to shock everybody. I love paintball.
A paintball?
Paintball.
Nice.
Fed paintball is my jam.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I've never had that answer on the show. Nice, dude. That's cool.
Yeah,
I used to play it professionally, Nathan, but not with paintballs.
I know. We all know this. Lord Dusty.
Lord Colonel Dusty.
Lord Colonel Dusty, excuse me. All right, Doc. Calm down over there.
Oh man, the show's off the rails. All right, Bill, up to you.
Mine's a toss-up, Brooke. Any shooting sport, hunting activity, and or coming alongside anyone when they're having that life aspect of nobody told me it would be like this, and that's anyone, business, personal. If I can serve you in some way, I don't have anything to sell you. I just want you to know that you're not alone.
Everybody needs another family member, and it should be Bill.
100%. If you don't know Bill, I know you all met him now virtually. Please get to know Bill. He's one of the good people. He's one of the good ones.
I share my phone number openly for that very reason. Don't ask to call me, just call me.
Yes, he's a very, very good man up here.
Bill,
All right.
I love you, and I'm you know how I feel about you. Love you,
Good
Bill.
man. This is the virtual hug to Bill. I'll like over it this way if you guys see this point. So there we go. Yes, hearts. All right, Nathanael. What is your favorite vacation spot?
My favorite vacation spot is that's tough. I don't go on vacation much, but I have to choose one spot.
Yes.
Well, the best spot I've been so far has been St. Lucia, Sandals Resort.
Nice. Okay. We'll kick it over to Dusty. Favorite vacation spot, Lord Dusty.
Have you ever heard of a place called Ohio?
Oh, where the wine flows like beer? Yes.
Sure. Beer flows like wine.
Beer
actually.
flows like wine. Yes.
Yeah. No, I would say, Lake Erie. This is going to sound kind of cheesy, but hear me out on this.
Okay. Heart be still.
My favorite place to vacation is wherever the kids want to go that's going to make them happiest. Because I've hit that point in my life where the best thing in the world is to see my family have a good time.
Aw. Where are the feelings portion of facts not feelings?
Oh,
my God.
Listen. Facts are
Man,
important.
I
You know
feel
what?
terrible.
Brooke and I talk about this all the time. Facts are very, very important. Data is very, very important. Action intelligence is very, very important.
Action is more important. Yeah.
But guess what else? Feelings do mean a lot. You just got to back them up. You either got to negate those feelings or back up those feelings with the data and the true stuff. Anyway.
Yes. All right, Bill, up to you, buddy.
Real quick, Tony Owens just joined us, and big shout out. He nicknamed me Waldo because you never know where in the world I'm going to be found.
We just got up there, Waldo.
That's brilliant.
Hey, Tony.
Favorite vacation spot so far, Banff, Canada. If you ever get a chance to go to Banff and you like the outdoors,
Banff.
BANFF.
Oh, Banff.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Dude, go to your Google machine. Throw Banff, Canada in your Google machine. Stunning.
Gorgeous.
And Nathaniel, because you spoke up, don't make the mistake that I made in my life. My late wife always encouraged me. She wanted me to take more time, and nobody can tell anybody else how to do it. But I am offering you, take the vacation time, even if you don't have to travel far, but enjoy that time with your family because that's what it's all about.
Yes.
I do a lot of life integration with my job. So,
well, as Hunter S. Thompson said once, buy the ticket, take the ride.
Yep. 100%. Took me a while to understand that, but it's, yeah. My younger brother, Jordan, if you're watching, I had to learn it from him. He's just like, Brooke, stop, work smarter, not harder. Stop it. Take some time off. So, with that, okay. So, we started that. Okay, let's go over. Bill, we're going to start with you on this one. In everything you're doing, whether it's personal or in professional life, or personal or professional, what is something you're constantly having to distinguish facts from feelings?
Oh, that's a good one.
I try. I try to integrate the name of the show into these. I try.
So you and I follow Sean Welch.
Yes.
And early in my automotive career, I knew that I was going to have a significant learning curve. And I looked for people. Is this a PG show?
No, hell no. How about that?
Have you seen her
Okay.
podcast? They all say E on them.
I looked for people who wouldn't bullshit me.
Yeah.
And the contrast of, in my life, I became a subject matter expert, not by my own recognition, but others in me in both the equine industry and the synthetic grass industry. And what that taught me was, man, learn to sort really quick. And it's not that if you make a mistake or your message isn't 100% always on facts, I'm good with that. But if you're telling other people what they should do, and it's always you telling, and never listening, we're probably not a match. So feelings are good. To Dusty's point, you don't learn how to feel in life, you're missing half the experience. But if you're going to offer people guidance, you better have evidence that you're capable of providing the guidance that it doesn't matter whether or not it benefits you. How is it going to benefit them?
Mm-hmm.
Amen. We'll mix it up. We're going to go down to Dusty and then over to Nathanael.
This will be really quick. Facts, not feelings. I don't like to say the word data. Brooke knows how I feel about the word data. Data don't mean anything. So what I like to use is another military term called actionable intelligence.
Yep.
So if you guys remember when you were in math class back in the day, and you had Joe Schmuckatelli got on a train in Tokyo and he's taking it to Yokosuka and it's going 60 some odd miles an hour and he ate 16 grapes at so many blah, blah, blah. And you got to pick apart all of this because there's just so much that's out there. What data can you pull out to act upon it? So this goes hand in hand with having mentors, advisors, coaches, all of that different stuff and understanding what's actionable and what's trash. Deal with that all the time. What's actionable and what's trash? What can we work towards? What can we do? What can we create from the data that we have or from the information that we have? Let's try that from the intelligence that we're gaining. And it's both from the vendor by what they're providing from you and for the vendor, what the dealer's providing to you in return. And so understanding what's actionable and what's garbage.
Love it. Yeah. And that's another one we have conversations. Dusty, I think that's like the majority of our conversations. So yeah. All right, Nathanael, kicking it over to you.
Can I have the question again? I kind of forgot what the question is. I was just listening.
Yeah, so of course you can. All right. So how are you distinguishing facts from feelings, whether it's in your personal life or in your professional life?
Okay. That's all right. Well, that one's difficult for me because I believe in the gut. I think that based on
Well, see, with that though, when you're going with your gut will end up proving to be factual. So yeah, you're good with that.
Well, I think it's because when you make a decision based on your gut, it's because you've spent a lot of time. So for me, if I know that something is going to work, it's not predominantly feelings. It's the facts of the work that I put in already. And it's just the consciousness of the rehearsal of everything that's going on in my brain. Obviously, for me, it's about one, learning about business because I really want to learn about that. But in terms of social media, because that's really where my profession lies, is that if I know that something is going to work, it's because, and obviously you can't be 100% all the time, but knowing that this is the trend that something's in is because I've been researching and watching it over and over again because my gut feeling tells me like, hey, this is going to be a real hit, It's because I've spent the time to watch and listen and research. So, I mean, making decisions on social media about the value of content, I think is my biggest thing, only because I have to do a lot of research on that. And, sometimes I throw stuff out there just to see what happens, but then there's sometimes that I really think that we will continue to build on whatever it is. I hope
Oh.
that makes sense.
No, it does. You've done all the research beforehand, so all of your research and homework have done that to prove that this is going to work.
Hey, Brooke,
And-
could I give
yes.
an example?
Yeah.
Again, that extreme learning curve and Sean Welsh's influence in my growth. And I mean, he built into me hours and hours of conversations and what have you. And there wasn't anything I could pay him, but the particular point that I'd like to make is, you know, Google Analytics is a big topic, and the vast number of so-called experts and the money they make and whatever. And that's not, I'm not unnecessarily denigrating anybody and their work, but I look for the simplest with the most value. And Sean is, you know, he does things manually. He's deep into data, but he charges less and gives more than anybody I've ever met. Like literally. And that's, you know, I don't have any business relationship with Sean. I'm not promoting him other than if you think making something more complicated makes anything any better, I have proof you might be wrong. So the automotive industry does a great job of paying for things that are overcomplicated, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, that is for sure. And then sometimes you pay for it, and not in Sean's case. Be very clear. Love Sean. You know I love Sean. Sometimes we pay for what you get. Sometimes you don't. It just depends on what you're getting. But no, Sean's phenomenal. You know I love Sean. He is. As you once said, you're the female Sean Welch. So yes, I love Sean to death. He's phenomenal, and he is another very very intelligent and incredible human being. Love Sean. We're going to round these out with some holiday themed questions, and we're going to start. Bill, you were talking. So, what is your favorite holiday tradition?
Anything with family.
Okay, Nathanael.
Anything with family.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. Nathanael, what's your favorite holiday tradition?
I don't really have any, to be honest. It's just spending time with family is my biggest thing.
Okay.
No, yeah, that's it.
All right. Dusty, I think I know the answer to this, but what's your favorite holiday tradition?
Oh, Chinese
3
buffet.
for 3.
Chinese buffet with the family. It's the best.
All right.
I don't know what it is. I love cooking for Thanksgiving. That's my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. I love it. I love cooking for the family. I love doing all of that stuff. But for some reason, going to a Chinese buffet on Christmas with everybody and just not having to worry about cleanup, just eating, laughing, sharing stories, the best.
Okay. Nice. I love it, dude. And last question. I know we've been a little longer today. I understand that. So everyone, thank you for hanging with us. We're going to go favorite holiday movie. And Dusty, we'll start with you and then work our way over Nathaniel and Bill.
Oh my gosh. My favorite holiday movie. Oh man. Christmas Story's up there. It's gotta be, it's gotta be, you know, either Christmas Story or Elf. It's really close.
Both great ones.
Yeah.
Great ones. Nathaniel, what is yours?
Thanks, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
Thanks.
I mean, everyone says I'm like Buddy, so I might as well just go with Elf. I don't know if anyone goes to my
great.
Instagram.
You had a great social post about this, dude. It was great.
Can I hold on really quick? You know, just to his point, wherever Nate's at on the screen.
No, I think it's down here.
There's a joke that I always have with Nate. I say because he's so. Have you ever seen? If you've never seen Nate in person, he embodies Buddy the Elf. He really does. I love it, and that's such a great point. He just everything about his optimism, his hopefulness, just never ending love for all things people, and all things like that is beautiful. But I always tell Nate, he's so tall and his legs are so skinny. I said, you're the only guy I've ever seen that can ride a horse and jog at the same time.
Oh my gosh, yes. That is the greatest thing ever.
He's got 12 miles of inseam.
Oh, I love it. Oh. We've got James is coming in with Die Hard right now as his favorite Christmas movie.
There's nothing, you know what? It's not the holiday seasons until old boy falls.
Oh,
once he falls off the Nakatomi Tower, holidays can start.
All right, Bill, bring us home, buddy. What's your favorite holiday movie?
Well, there's two, but James is right. It's Die Hard or Scrooge. So take
Okay.
your choice.
Bill Murray.
But Die Hard, number one, never ever a competition. In fact, it's this is possibly too much information, but part of my dating criteria is if you don't think Die Hard is a Christmas movie, we're not a match.
I love it.
Oh, geez. I forgot one. I love White Christmas.
Okay.
Classic Bing Crosby.
Oh yeah.
That's okay.
What's his name? Dale Kane, right? Dan Kane. Sorry.
Dan Kane.
With Rosemary
Danny
Clooney.
Yeah. Rosemary Clooney. Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I just love the songs in there. You know, my favorite one is Snow, Snow, Snow. The whole acapella thing there. Mwah.
Old soul.
The best.
I was not expecting that out of you, Nathanael. You
while
kind
you're
of
dancing.
threw me a curve there a little bit there, buddy. I like it.
If you saw Nathaniel and his wife's image from the Mohawk Christmas party, classic. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. Knocked it out of the park. Classic, dapper couple.
I'm gonna have to. I don't.
Thank
think I
you,
missed
Bill.
this.
Appreciate that, buddy.
I'm about to look this up. I think I missed that somehow. I don't know how I missed that.
That's okay. Listen, it's the algos.
Steroids.
I'll be scrolling later. Don't worry. Don't you fret, little one. I will be scrolling. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I so appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support throughout this entire year. Everyone have a safe and just fantastic and fabulous New Year's. And cheers, everyone. And until next year, be safe. We'll see you next year. And yeah, everyone, thank you again. And to my wonderful, wonderful guests, thank you so much for being a part of this. You guys couldn't have done it without you. I know.
That was fun.
I know. That was fun.
The iPhone gift that will be showing up repeatedly.
I know. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful New Year's, and we'll see everyone at 2023. All right, everyone. Have a good one. Bye-bye now.
Love you all. Thank you.
Love you. Cheers.
Cheers.